Today is day 10 of Follow Me on BNB Binance Coin. We are going to look at how we made a really healthy profit over the last 3 days. We're going to look at a trade log, how to do some trade management, because most people don't manage their positions, how you can do it and how to leverage a trade log, and looking at a trade management plan, a trading plan, and also the macro viewpoint of Binance Coin. We're going to zoom out and what should we anticipate over the coming days and 1 or 2 weeks. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. My name is Jiggy. I'm the award-winning author of The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro, featured in the best-selling book, High Probability Trading Strategies, back in 2008, where I only used to focus on currencies, but now exclusive on cryptocurrency. So let's dive straight in. So yesterday's video was day 9 of BNB, and what we said was the market has looked like it's made some type of clean, or looked like at the time, ABC correction, and it made a nice move to the downside. So we moved our second stop loss from this point all the way down to this point over here. So if the market did reverse, we've locked in a good amount of profits on our second position, and we also already been exited out on our first position over here. So that's what we've covered so far in the last, well, today's day 10, so the last 9 days, and how this setup really unfolds. So let's just jump into a live chart, and then we'll look at a trade log on some of the numbers, the exact numbers, as opposed to speculative numbers. So this is what happened. Again, getting stopped out is a healthy thing, right? This is why we have stop losses. This is why we trail our stop losses. You know, it's probabilities, never certainties. What should the market not do if it's going to continue? And we said it shouldn't go beyond this point if it's going to continue to the downside, if this ABC correction is going to hold. And then what happened? Well, the market did make a move to the downside, but then it popped right away back up. So now we need to review, right? But we've been stopped out. So it's a good, healthy profit. This amount over here, and then this amount over here. So you should have some type of trade log. You know, simple Excel sheet does the trick. I'm just going to show you what I use. And I've just got a few numbers here just to kind of give you an indicative feel for some numbers. So what we've got over here is starting account balance. You know, you can pop in whatever your account balance is. I'm just popped in 10,000 for, so you kind of see some numbers. This is going to be the running account balance. So when you lock in profits, it will increase or decrease as you take maybe losses. Here it's going to be an increase. The amount you're risking per trade and per unit. So we're going to cover some of these things. And I've just used this as the Binance example, the coin that we just did. So I'm going to zoom in a bit more just so it's a bit clearer for us to see. So we've got entry date, ticker symbol, Binance coin, that's all fine. Running account balance. So whatever your account balance is, you know, if it's 100 grand, you pop it in here. Risk. The main thing I want to really cover with you is, you know, when you're using futures, there's a few things you need to know. This was our entry that we discussed in the last 9 days. This was the initial stop loss. And then where we got stopped out on both positions, the first half was 302.1 and the second one was 308.9. So that was what we are looking at when we're looking at this chart over here. These two lines over here. This was the first one that we got stopped out over here, and then the second one over here. And we literally just import these numbers into the Excel sheet. And what you want is it just tells us the performance. So it's all relative. So the percentage numbers are actually more important than the actual dollar amount, because we made 4.2% of the total account and 2.9% on the second unit. So if we highlight both of these, we can see that it's a total of 7.2%, right? So we risked 1.5% and made 3 times that amount. We risked 1.5% and made 2 times that amount. So you want to have these, you know, it's just a trade log that just clearly records all of this. You want to have, ideally, a place where you can kind of go, okay, what was the outcome? I like to have 5 different outcomes. So, you know, we're in open orders, is open, risk-free, close profit, close for a risk-free position, or close at a loss. So these two closed, are now closed, and we made a profit, which is a good thing. Write any notes that are relative to you, because on a week-by-week basis, you want to be able to review your performance. So you can just kind of look at what's working, what's not working, and having a clear trade plan. So there's some of the numbers with the trade log. I'm going to be doing some new stuff, some new courses on that, because I think a lot of people struggle with logging trades, having a nice risk management plan, trade management, and just recording trades and how to review them on a week-by-week basis. So what should we do now? Well, what we're going to do now is we're just going to go to a daily chart. This is an hourly chart. Let's just zoom in out to a daily chart. There's a few things we want to be aware of, right? What is the macro picture? Just a reminder of what we originally were looking at BNB for wasn't actually these short-term trades. It just happened to be a very good shorting opportunity. And when the markets give us clear indication of a pattern sequence and it's very high probability, we want to take advantage of that. And that's what we did with this tiny little trade over here. But it was quite significant because we had a very tight stop loss. But on a macro viewpoint, what we're looking at with BNB, if we just remind ourselves, we said this on day one, is we've had this amazing move to the upside where the market went from like $40 all the way up to like $600-700. And then we look like we're in this correction, this A, B, C style correction. And we're anticipating a major correction to end over the next week or so. And if it does, if being the operative word, because it's probabilities, never certainties, we should anticipate a continuation of the former trend, which is all-time new highs. So Binance coin potentially may go over $1,000. So we want to be leveraging that information. But what we're going to do now is we're just going to look at, right, before that occurs, what's likely to happen? Well, we're probably going to see more further movements to the downside. And there's a couple of things I wanted to cover with you. Let's just do it like this. I'm just going to zoom in over here and focus on this part of the chart in terms of price and momentum. We notice we've got two momentum charts below down here. But what we want to look at is this looks like a nice wave 1, a wave 2, a pretty clear wave 3. And this still looks like a wave 4 because there's overlapping waves, right? And we might get a complex correction, we don't know. So we anticipate, or I anticipate, one more move to the downside, one more leg. And that's what we're trading. That's what we're trading short term at the moment. And we're looking for that. So what would be good practice? Well, I personally like it when, if I just zoom this in like this, and this like this, so you can just have a clearer viewpoint. And I just take the data like so. And I'm just going to pull it forward in a second. I like it when, if I draw it, let's draw it like this. I like it when both, this is the fast indicator, the settings are 8533, and a slightly slower look back period, 13855. I like it when both of them are pointing in the same direction. And then we look for shorting opportunities. But right now, one is pointing down and one is pointing up. Right? So I don't like that. I don't like that. I like to wait and be patient for this one to reverse. So it might take 1 or 2 days either to get overbought, at least get into the overbought zone, or have a bearish reversal where the blue line goes below the red line. Right? So right now it's about standing aside. Like there's no active trade right now. Just wait 1 or 2 days until I'll show you here. If I double click on this, the settings are 8533. There's a stochastics RSI setting. Momentum, which is just measuring the rate of change. Wait patiently for it to either become overbought in this zone over here or make an earlier bearish reversal, right? So this is because we're trading on the hourly chart. The daily chart is the higher degree time frame, and we ideally want it to point in the same direction. The trend is your friend. Ride it until its end, until it reaches its bend, and the momentum indicator can give us a good clue on the trend. Now, with that said, let's just now jump back into the hourly chart. I'll keep that in the bottom right hand corner because we've got a pretty clean pattern, right? Pretty clean pattern. Let's just clean this up. We can now actually delete these lines because this trade is now over. This trade where we've exited this trade. Now we're going to move this wave 2 because this cannot be the wave 2 high because we've had a movement to the upside and we haven't had this low taken out. So it looks like some type of wave 2 is still unfolding. So let's just redo the retracements, which we did the other day. Taking this high to this low. Most corrections occur between the ranges of 50, 62, and 78.6% retracement. So we can see that Binance coin has kind of made this move to the upside. It didn't tag this 50%, which we was aware of. It was closer to the 38.2. It made a move to the downside, and now it's made another move to the upside. So it looks like we might be getting, because wave A's, I'm getting a bit of detail here, wave A's can sometimes be a 3-wave structure, so we might be getting some type of ABC structure like so. And by the way, if you're brand new to Elliott Waves and you haven't done Elliott Waves, take my free Elliott Wave and Fibonacci Masterclass because I cover this in a lot of depth. One of the things we do cover a lot of is the ABC corrections and how to measure that with Fibonacci price ratios. Price ratios combined with the ABC ratios, which is what we're looking at right now. In the link below, you'll get immediate access. Highly recommend it. You'll find it incredible because it just covers some of the patterns that we're just going to see time and time and time again. So if this is the case, what we should be aware of is something along the lines of, let me put a micro. In fact, I'm going to put it as, for now I'm going to put it as intermediate. So we just get it like this. All right, cool. All right, so we're expecting something like this. This is what we're anticipating, ABC. Do we need to do anything else? We can do an alternate price projection. Let's just measure this low to this high and project it forward from over here. There's two key ratios we want. Typical is 100% and the typical maximum is 1.618. So we now got this zone over here, and we're also going to do just the, actually that's enough for now. That's enough for now. Until that momentum that I was telling you about gets into the overbought zone, or there's another clear clue, because right now this seems to be breaking down into what looks like to be maybe another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave sequence. If we get that structure, we'll then look at this a bit more closely, but we don't need to rush. We really don't need to rush. What would invalidate this whole wave count, and we might be getting more of a complex correction, is if the price goes above this high over here. So if we just change this over here, if the price goes above this high over here, then we need to reevaluate the whole wave count. So this won't be a wave 2, because we had a nice impulsive sequence at the downside. This looks corrective, but it's not confirmed yet. We're in the typical 62% range, but we're probably going to go to the 78.6% range. We're going to be aware of that. This does look like a 5-wave impulsive sequence. And then we can look for another short position, which might be nice to the downside. And then we just literally rinse and repeat what we did earlier. Let me just finish with one last thing. So if we do get something like this, a wave 1, 2, what looks like a 3, 4, 5, of a C, of a 2, that's 3 degrees of wave count. If it does unfold like this, if I just help by making it a bit clearer like this, then what we'll do is we'll be patient for the price to go below this swing low, and that will give us a signal that we might be seeing a wave 2 top, and then we can look for shorting opportunities to potentially ride this wave to the downside. Yeah, to ride this wave to the downside, and there'll be some good profits that you can make with minimal capital exposure, because what we're anticipating still, just so we're all on the same page, is that the price to go into this range down here towards the $200 mark. If that's the case, there might be some good shorting opportunities which we can leverage on the downside. So there you have it. Binance Coin, you saw the first 2 entry points. Today's been day 10. We're just following it day by day. So it's the practical guide, the reality of what trading involves. And there's 3 main positions you can take. There's long, as in you're buying, you're making money on the way up. There's short, which is what we're looking for, another shorting opportunity, making money on the way down. And the third one is actually standing aside. So prior to today, we were short, and right now we're standing aside, waiting for the next optimal, high probability setup, where we're looking for momentum, pattern, and price, and ideally some time factors as well. We don't need to really go into that right now. And let's just do one last recap. I'm going to double click on this. We're just going to be patient, either for the wave 5 structure to unfold on the hourly chart and with some clear signals, but more preferably that the 8533 stochastics daily stochastics RSI gets overbought, and then if those two coincide, we can then look for another shorting opportunity. Woo! We covered a lot there. Some specific numbers. Take the free Elliott Wave Fibonacci Masterclass. If you haven't done so already, make sure you got some basic trade plan, so you know how much you're risking per trade, how to log your trades, how to do the basics, because it's all about the consistency and the long game. And we're talking about years of just being very consistent in a objective, mechanical, non-emotional fashion. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let's finish on a quote. We'll go with a relevant one today, right? We did well. We did very well on managing our positions. It was a good job. You know, the first unit, the second unit, it was objective, it was mechanical, non-emotional, it was logical. and we could follow it, and we can repeat that process. We can repeat that process. We made 7.2%. We only risked 3%, but we were risk-free within like the first 24 hours. So that's very, very good. So even if we don't get the full waves, like it didn't unfold as anticipated yet, like it made a higher high, that's okay. We still made a profit. So even when we're wrong short term, if you're breaking even and making a small profit, well, we can just keep riding those trends. And then when we are right, then we'll make significantly higher profits. All right. Chapter 2, Warren Buffett. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. Now, there's 2 types of information in the world. There's intellectual and there's actual. And what's the difference between the two? Well, intellectual means you can just regurgitate the words. We can read that quote, we can regurgitate the words, but it has no meaning. Like it has no real application. There's no action behind them. There's just words. You can repeat those words. 2 people can repeat the same words, but the understanding of the words can be very different. So it's intellectual, so understanding the words intellectually. And then an actual understanding is the implementation of those words. It's where knowledge becomes wisdom. So when it says never lose money, what's the practical way that we can do that in trading? Well, that's what we've been covering over the last 3 days. We're on day 10 of the Follow Me on Binance Coin, because it's very, very practical. But when certain things happen in the chart, then we can look at it and go, okay, how can we practically move our stop loss to risk-free? So in the worst case scenario, we are not going to lose money in this trade. And then when certain other things happen, we have our insurance policy, which was our first unit. And then we logically moved our second unit, the stop loss, in a way so we locked in maximum profit for this kind of scenario. And now we can just wait for the next setup. So when we say rule number 1, never lose money, we need a practical methodology to execute that. We need tools, we need a trade plan, and that's going to really, really help you succeed long term. So take the free masterclass, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 11. We're going to be on day 11 of Follow Me. And again, I want to just follow this until either this bigger correction unfolds, and then we can look for bigger, longer opportunities, or we just keep riding the way on the downside, and we'll just see how it unfolds. All right, see you soon. See you tomorrow for day 11. Follow me on Binance Coin. See you soon.